Okay, so we start the Tarot app. Once the app is running, click on the Bluetooth icon and then select your Bluetooth, the Tarot. Once that's done, click on the globe and you will see on the screen, you'll see some data up here. So H is home, M is the mobile connector, and the little triangle is the drone. Okay, so at the top we'll see there's a little drone that we can do the setup on. We'll go through there. Then there is a satellite showing how many satellites are connected. There are 10 in this case. Then the signal strength between the wireless transmitter on the drone and the dongle. Then the signal strength between your phone and the dongle. And then the battery voltage, and then the settings. So the first ones on the left, these are your flight modes. So you can set it to follow, and wherever you walk with the dongle, the drone will follow you and the dongle. You can get it to hover and aim at a target. You can set it that the sun, it's filming at an angle that the drone shadow doesn't pick up, and then you can set it to rotate. You can set your altitude, your radius, and your how many times to circle in a minute, and then you can take a walk down the beach. It'll circle you and video you. Then you can set, currently home is where you're going to take off from. You can also set where your dongle is going to set. Your mobile is going to be the home position. So if you are on a boat and you drive and the drone is following the boat and there's battery fail safe, it'll come and land on the boat where your phone is. Otherwise it'll land where home is, so it'll return to where it took off from. Or you can set that the current drone position is the home position. So we could set the home position on the beach. We can go out to sea with the boat, take off from the boat, fly around, and when it gets to battery fail safe, and it's going to go back to the beach. Then at the bottom here we've got that's your altitude. We're indoors at the moment, so we've got a bit of a disparity. Then your distance from home, then your meters per second horizontally and meters per second vertically. Okay, so here we can give it a single point orbit. You can give it a place to fly around, or you can tell it where to go and drop a bait, for example. I can give it a destination point. Okay, and we can give it a destination point there. And so what we would do is, that's where it's going to fly to, so you would actually take off. Because if you tell it start now, it'll take off from the ground and fly straight out, doesn't matter. So we'll take off, make sure the bait is up, click on start. It's 286 meters, and it's going to fly at 5 meters a second, etc., etc. And if you've got a camera on, you want to video, you can select waypoints for the drone to fly. And video, and then return home. And you can start, it'll take off, do it, and whatever. Then we have settings. And we've got a couple here. So yeah, you can set your altitude, you can set your distance. Where have we lost our connection here? Okay, we can calibrate our drone sensors. So the top is the gyroscope should read 0 and your accelerometer should read 9.8. Click calibrate, leave the drone standing still horizontal. Calibrate the accelerometer and it'll start calibrating. Calibration okay, close it and you'll see 9.8. Instead of flicking the switch on the transmitter to go into compass calibration mode, you just click calibrate compass and it'll go into the calibration mode, and you still have to then rotate the drone backwards and forwards. Let's just go back here. So maximum altitude, we want to fly a little bit higher. We've got an offshore wind blowing, and 1,000 meters is legally. We want to drop the bait at 435 meters because that's the back line, and the drone will fly there and stop there. It's 10 meters a second, which is 35 kilometers an hour, and you can take it up to 12 meters a second, which is 40 kilometers an hour. Won't go more than that. And then your RC signal, you never want it to hover, you don't want it to go on. We always, for fishing, want it to go home. That's if your transmitter is no longer, you drop it, the batteries come out, it gets wet, it stops working, you lose signal, somebody jams your signal, you want the drone to come home. So that's the long and short of it. And if it is busy flying and it is doing something, yeah, we have it can auto take off. You just slide it. I'm not going to do that now, the drone's in the bag. And you can also tell it go home and land while it is in flight. You can just click on go home and land and it'll come back up. And if you're flying your waypoints now, once you press start, it'll fly the waypoints and it'll be videoing. And all you would do is you would just press stop, and that wants to delete the waypoints. So that's the long and the short of it. That's what you can do with your Bluetooth. And just understand there's a wireless transmitter. It's only I think 100 milliamp transmitter, so you'll have a latency. The further it gets away from you, the more the breakdown, there'll be delays between the readings, but it'll give you the basic information that you need. And while flying a bait and you're flying far, keep an eye on the voltage at the top. When you hit 23 volts under load, in other words, it's carrying a bait and dragging lines, etc., then drop your bait. Just take note, it doesn't have a function keeping the screen on. So given if you were flying a 500 meter drop, you would need at least 1 minute out and 1 minute back. So set your screen off time to 5 minutes. Otherwise you're going to keep getting the screen switching off while you're trying to fly. And then it is also best to zoom out so that you can get your whole flight onto the screen. And then what we find is helpful if we're watching the drone and the bait and everything is to do a screen recording, and once you come back you can follow all the data and everything by just replaying the video.